And that's what kids do. They leave and they don't come back.
Oh, ours will come back, right?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times Modern Family got real.
That felt good getting that out.
Wow.
I know. They just want therapy.
For this list, we're looking at the sitcom's most emotional and hard-to-digest moments. Which of these scenes hit you the hardest? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Jay's sacrifices for his family. Some of Modern Family's greatest heartfelt moments arise from Jay's periodical displays of sentimentality. Throughout the course of the show, we glean that few things matter more to him than his family.
And I remember thinking, I can't save you, buddy, but I'm getting off this ride.
This was evidenced pretty early on in the series in the episode Disneyland, where we come to learn that Jay was all set to divorce Dee Dee until he thought of Claire and Mitchell, who were still kids at the time. He put them first and waited until they were grown to do what was best for himself.
But I realized that staying with my kids was more important than leaving my wife. Now, that's not the right decision for everyone, but it was the right decision for me.
In season 11, we also learn that business wasn't always easy for Jay. There was a time when he had to cut a family vacation short and take a night job to keep the lights on.
Why wouldn't he have told us?
Probably didn't want to worry anyone.
Number 19. The Forklift Fiasco. It's no secret that Jay and Manny don't always see eye to eye, and the two definitely do not have exactly the typical father-son bond that, say, Luke and Phil have. But they don't need that sort of bond to be there for each other.
Wait a minute, is that Manny driving?
Is it?
Yeah, that's him.
When Manny has an accident on a forklift at Jay's work, Jay immediately fires the employee who let it happen. While Manny fights for the employee and begs his stepdad to give the worker another chance, Jay knows where his priorities lie.
You can give me the cold shoulder the rest of your life. Jack's not coming back. See, I could overlook the goofing off, but you could have been seriously hurt today. Anybody puts my kid in danger doesn't get a second chance, ever. I'll see you later.
His kid's safety comes above all else. Manny's reaction to the term reveals something many blended families go through, and it's really sweet seeing just how touched he is. Number 18. Alex wants to come home. Alex is not a quitter, and as a result, she often doesn't get to quit. When she's having a rather poor time at college, she confides in her dad who, with his intentions in the right place, inadvertently sets her off by encouraging her to give things a chance.
Alex, don't get mad.
Well, I am mad because I'm actually smart enough to know what's working for me and what isn't, and this isn't. I have to go to class.
This isn't the first time Alex has had trouble fitting in, but luckily, her parents always seem to know how to be there for her.
I have no friends.
You're on the clock.
All right. What happened?
Despite Phil later validating her feelings and assuring her they'd love to have her back home, he also gives her the gentle nudge she needed to get out of her comfort zone. Number 17. Haley's college debut. As it turns out, both Dunphy sisters had a rough time away from home. They say the first one is always the most difficult to let go, and that is precisely what Claire and Phil go through after leaving Haley in her new dorm.
Okay, so I better go.
Okay.
Okay, come here. Let's move over.
Let me get in there.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
The goodbye doesn't go exactly as they might have wanted after a typical Dunphy catastrophe, but Haley eventually comes around later in the day when she discovers how lonely college can be.
Sweetheart, is everything okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everything, today and stuff.
Of course, of course. If you need anything at all, you just call us.
Her thank you and I'll miss you are familiar to so many parents of college-aged kids, and Claire and Phil's reactions make the moment all the more real. It's truly the mark of their eldest moving out of her teen years into adulthood, at least until she was kicked out. Number 16. Phil's dad instincts. All parents and their kids go through rough patches, some of them worse than others. After Haley's arrest and expulsion from college, which was another super real moment on the show, things are understandably pretty rough between her and her parents.
You know what I haven't heard from you yet? I'm sorry, Mom. I screwed up, Dad. Please forgive me. Now put on some real clothes. We'll see you at the hearing. Do not be late.
When she begins dating someone who's nearly her dad's age, Claire insists that it's to get back at them and they should stand their ground in the game of chicken. Phil is a little less steadfast. In her final attempt to provoke her parents, Haley divulges her feelings of failure, which are entirely relatable to those of us who've made bigger mistakes in life.
Oh, you don't have to tell me what he thinks, okay? I'm a huge disappointment to him. I see it on his face every day. He acts as if he doesn't even want me around.
It's Phil's confession, however, that always hits us right in the gut, serving as a much appreciated reminder of what a father's love looks like.
That's my little girl. I need her to know that no guy on earth is good enough for her, let alone some slimy middle-aged jean salesman.
Number 15, Lily's first period. Until Joe, Lily held the title of the baby of the family. By season 10, however, she wasn't such a baby anymore. The arrival of her first period sees Mitch and Cam out of sorts as they try to help despite knowing very little about the experience.
I thought you were going to ask Claire to talk to Lily about this.
Well, I was, but when I tried, Claire was in such a mood because, ironically...
Okay, we can't screw this up. We cannot give her a complex.
They call on some outside help, which does more harm than good, and eventually realize that even if they can't completely understand what their daughter is going through, they are the two best equipped to help. Mitch's speech about Lily growing up brings him to tears, and it's such a stark reminder about a major theme both in the show and in life.
We are your parents, okay? We are gonna make mistakes, and we are not gonna have all the answers, but when you do want to talk about it, we're here for you.
Yeah, we love you.
Change is scary, but the people around us can make it a little less so. Number 14, the trials of being bilingual. Gloria's accent, pronunciation, and confusion of English expressions was a long-running gag on Modern Family.
But people understand me just fine.
What the hell is this?
I told you, Jay. I called your secretary and told her to order you a box of baby cheeses. Oh, so now that is my fault too.
But the show also made sure to shine a light on how difficult it is to speak a second language you didn't grow up with, as well as Gloria's frustration with jokes and jibes at her expense. In season 6, Gloria finally gets to speak her mother tongue when a Spanish tutor is hired for Manny. Jay learns what it's like to be the one out of the loop for once, and Gloria has some great lines about the tribulations of speaking a language you're not totally comfortable in.
Do you even know how smart I am in Spanish? Of course you don't. For once, it would be nice to speak to someone in my own language in my own home.
It's relatable to many, and a good lesson for native speakers reinforcing that intelligence has nothing to do with how well someone speaks. Number 13, Claire worries about Alex growing up. As is perfectly on theme for a plot point in this sitcom, Alex's middle school graduation is cause for something of a panic in Claire.
Emotional day, huh?
Happy day.
Happy and sad.
We see her break as she reveals that middle school graduation was around the time that Haley's moody teenage years put a damper on their mother-daughter relationship, and she's anticipating the same will happen with Alex.
Hey, we're losing her.
Alex?
Yes.
You're not losing her?
We are. She's going to high school. This is just when I lost Haley. This is when Haley went from being my sweet little angel to being a moody, texting, snotty little princess who hates me.
Even Phil ends up in tears as he reminisces on Haley as a child versus their interactions when she's a teen. Later on, we'd see Haley experience something similar when Alex was set to go off to college and she was scared they wouldn't keep in touch.
What are you talking about? You're my sister. Oh, right. Yeah. Sisters. Like, we're obligated to see each other. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Luke's funeral.
Parents will never be prepared for a child to leave them, but at least Claire got one thing wrong. They do come back. Number 12, Jay's Navy tradition. Though this episode delves into some pretty weighty topics like teenage insecurities and the importance of emotional connection in romantic relationships, nothing is quite as heavy as the twist that is Jay's plotline. It's storming at the Delgado Pritchett household, and Jay spends the entire time trying to get out of the house and to the nearest bar.
Okay, everyone. Don't feel like you have to wait for me to get back.
Jay! The leak is growing!
I was just on my way back out.
I'll do it.
We initially think it's just Jay being cynical and trying to get away from all the hullabaloo taking place in his house. By the end, however, we learn of the true reason behind his urgency. The quiet moment he shares with Phil, of all family members, is nothing short of a tearjerker. Number 11, Luke's friend Walt. It feels so specific to have Luke befriend the crabby next-door neighbor Walt Klezak, and yet it's exactly something Luke would do.
My name is Luke Dunphy. I live next door.
What do you want?
I want to get our ball from your yard.
I don't want you messing around back there. Just go home.
Claire and Phil, who were spooked by Walt to begin with, have their apprehensions about this new friendship. It's Luke, however, with his childlike view of the world, that reminds everyone the importance of getting to know someone before we pass judgment. This lesson is brought home when Walt reveals he was once a firefighter and has no ill intentions.
I used to be a fireman, you know. I don't hurt kids.
Sir, would you like to come in?
Just tell the boy that Shane is on today at 3. You should watch it.
That was all real enough, but the biggest punch to the gut comes in the next season when Walt passes away, and Luke has to confront grief at such a young age.
Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and look down here. The TV was on and I knew he was up. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna miss that.
Yeah.
Number 10. Mitchell and Cameron are denied a second baby.
We're getting a baby today.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
When Cam and Mitchell got the call that a pregnant woman had chosen them to adopt her baby and she was in labor, they rushed to the hospital prepared to leave with the newest member of their family. But things didn't go as planned as the grandmother of the child announced that she was going to raise it. The scene is played for laughs as it plays out like a telenovela, with angry women, face slaps, and a sexy priest.
The nurse is mad at Juanita because Juanita stole her lover, and Juanita is mad at the nurse because the nurse told their grandmother about the baby.
Our baby?
However, at the core of it all is Cam and Mitch not getting a baby.
She's saying that she's going to raise the baby.
Cam.
It's a difficult moment for the couple, and one that leads them to take a step back and decide not to pursue adoption for the time being.
I think I'm lying on a rock.
I'm lying next to my rock.
Number 9. Alex's meltdown.
Also, should I get a job this summer? Would an internship look better on my application? And what is up with Hillary? Is she going to run or not? I mean, I feel like she'd totally understand the feeling of being overwhelmed, but also like you're not doing enough at the same time.
Alex is a brilliant girl and an academically driven student who puts a ton of pressure on herself to succeed. It makes for a lot of funny jokes, but in the season 5 episode Under Pressure, this constant need to be the best comes to a head when she breaks down during her 16th birthday party.
Hey, we all know why we're here.
Hi, honey, you missed one.
I know I missed one. I'm not an idiot. Whoa. There, happy?
Alex speaks to a therapist, whom she found by herself, of course, and it's during their session that we really get a deeper dive into her stress and her belief that no one really understands how she feels.
I feel kind of alone.
During an open house at school, Claire begins to realize the stress Alex must be under, and at the end, gives her a real shoulder to cry on.
I don't know how you don't have a meltdown every day. Oh, honey.
Number 8. Jay breaks down at family therapy.
I can just imagine my old man with his buddies sitting at their lawn chairs, laughing their asses off that I missed a whole day of football because I'm trying to get in touch with my emotions.
Jay, the patriarch of the Pritchett family, is old school, tough, and not one to wear his emotions on his sleeve. We know he grew up with a tough, no-nonsense father too, but he generally doesn't share much about how that makes him feel. That is, until the family has a session with a doctor and self-help author who forces them over the course of the day to clean out their emotional junk drawer.
Sounds like you're stuck in that drawer.
Sounds like you're stuck in that metaphor.
While Jay and the other Pritchetts don't take it very seriously at first, eventually Jay has a real moment about his father that brought him, and probably many watching, to tears.
I didn't even cry at his funeral, you believe that? The guy was my whole world. Not a tear. Everybody looking at me like I didn't love him. But he knew. He had to know, right?
Of course he did.
Number 7. Mitch tells Jay not to attend the wedding.
Why are you having such a big thing anyway?
Well, because we're only getting married once.
I'm just saying, why do you need to make it into a spectacle?
A spectacle?
While Jay and Mitchell's relationship improved over the course of the series, Jay wasn't always as accepting of his son's sexuality as he eventually became. Although things had gotten better by season 5, some of Jay's prejudices came to the surface as Mitch and Cam prepared for their wedding. As the cost of the event grows, Jay makes some comments about how they should tone it down, and how he doesn't want his friends there to see it.
I don't think I'm out of line suggesting my friends don't want to see a father-son dance at a big gay wedding.
To hear your father say that just before your wedding day would be hard for anyone, and as a result, Mitch tells Jay not to bother coming.
If it really makes you that uncomfortable, then don't come to the wedding.
Thankfully, father and son work through it though, and Jay is ultimately there to walk Mitch down the aisle. Number 6. Jay refers to Cam as Mitchell's friend. Early on in the series, the discomfort that Jay has with his son being gay is put on display when he introduces Cam as Mitchell's friend.
Hi, I'm Cameron.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. Guys, this is Cameron. He's a friend of my son's.
Obviously, this angers Mitch, and he gets back at his dad by telling him one of his friends is gay, even though he isn't.
My father was a tailor. I like clothes. So what?
This first season episode is titled 15% in reference to Mitchell's closing monologue about how that is as much as people can change if they want to.
Can people change? I don't know. People are who they are. Give or take, 15%.
We might argue that considering where he started, Jay's change over the show's 11 seasons, especially in regards to his gay son, might have been more than 15%. But this was season 1 and he wasn't quite there yet. Number 5. Jay cries on Mother's Day.
He teared up when I found this poem he wrote for his mom as a boy.
As we've already discussed, Jay Pritchett considers himself a man's man, who keeps his emotions in check and doesn't like to look weak. But near the end of season 2, we get one of our first cracks in his armor in the Mother's Day episode while he's making his mom sauce with Phil. During the process, they find a poem Jay wrote about the recipe for the perfect mom, and their reading of it floods him with unexpected emotions.
Are you crying?
No. It's the onions, damn it. Give me these.
Later at dinner, he tries to play it off as nothing, but he again breaks down with the whole family around.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, yells at my little...
Oh my God, it's happening again.
It's okay, Jay. Let it out.
Instead of pulling back this time, though, he lets himself feel the feels. Number 4. Jay takes Manny to Disneyland.
My dad's taking me on Space Mountain. It's supposed to be really fast, but he's not scared of anything. He doesn't even wear a seatbelt when he drives.
Wow, how about that?
Killed a bear once.
Really? Was the bear sitting in the passenger seat?
Modern Family didn't waste any time getting real, with the next item on our list coming in just the second episode of the series. Jay is again at the center of the realness, but this time, he's living up to the adage that ends the episode that the biggest part of being a good dad is just being there. Although Jay had a trip planned for him and Gloria, when Manny's biological father decides he would rather play craps than spend time with Manny at Disneyland as planned, Jay is there.
The plane was full, and this old lady needed to get home, so he gave up his seat.
You're making that up, aren't you?
He makes up some excuse for Manny's father and changes his plans so that he, Gloria, and Manny can go to Disneyland together. Number 3. Grace Dunphy's funeral.
This may not make sense to everyone, but I'm pretty sure she would have loved it.
Funerals are often times when shows get real, and the funeral for Phil's mom in season 4 was no exception. The moments that stand out from the episode are the ones with Alex, who was very close to her grandma and at first is confused and disappointed when all her grandma seemingly left her was a lighter and a short letter.
I don't really get the gift Grandma left me.
Well, didn't she explain it in the note?
However, when more of the letter is discovered, it all makes sense, as Grandma really did understand her, which, as we learned earlier, she didn't feel like anyone else did. This leads to a closing moment filled with smiles, and if you're anything like us, a bunch of tears as well.
So, my Alex, who I love so dearly, who's probably too much like me for her own good. Every once in a while, don't be afraid to break the rules. You never know what can happen.
Number 2. Pritchett Dies.
Hey, Jerry. What's wrong?
When?
How?
Sure, Jay and Dee had their problems. She wasn't very accepting of Gloria, and her relationship with her kids was complicated. But as Jay's ex-wife and Claire and Mitch's mom, she was a part of this modern family. She was loved, and her loss affected everyone in their own way. They say that the only two things guaranteed in life are death and taxes, but that doesn't make it any less painful to loved ones left behind.
Remember how she used to always bring her own ice cubes to restaurants?
Yes. Remember when she got thrown out of Scientology?
Our mother is dead, Phil.
I thought we were.
Dee's death was the big shock of season 10. But as we already saw and will see again, it wouldn't be the last time the show would get real with the passing of a member of the family.
On the trip's final morning, Dee was found in her room. She had apparently passed peacefully in her sleep as a smile graced her face.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Phil's dad dies. By the time season 11 came around, the family had already lost Phil's mom, Claire and Mitch's mother, and Manny's turtle, to name a few. But there was one more heart-wrenching death to come, and that was Phil's dad, Frank.
We didn't do much that day, but it might have been one of the best days I ever had with my dad. I just didn't know it would be the last.
Phil and his father were definitely two peas in a pod, and there are few sons who look up to their dad more than Phil did his.
My dad was okay, and my takeaway from our day, don't miss a chance to let the people you appreciate know that.
This one hit hard, but as with the death of his mother, who Alex sent off with fireworks, Phil celebrated his dad in the most perfect way he could, with big penguin footprints.
You left some big footprints, my old man.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.